Patrick Mahomes is basically God playing quarterback.
Chiefs Kingdom
Live.
Come on at it, Whitehouse. Know your role and shut your mouth, you jabroni.
Yeah, when it's grim, be the Grim Reaper and go get it.
It's Mahomes house, and it is good, good, good. Woo! Arrowhead man.
The Lombardi Trophy has a red and gold reflection.
You gotta fight for your right to party.
Howdy, Chiefs Kingdom. It's Wednesday. It's a little after 8 o'clock. It's Chiefs Kingdom Live. Thank you so much. As always, real quick, while you're here, if you wouldn't mind, before you forget, click or tap that like, click or tap that subscribe. Maybe think about it. Tell a friend, tell a family member, tell some Chiefs fans, help spread the word. We'd really appreciate it. Got a good show here. Another off-season, I don't know if you want to call it like a rut or what exactly is going on. There's a little bit of Chiefs news, but there's always some NFL news. So we might talk a little bit more about some goings-on around the league than Chiefs tonight, but this is when we lean on the chat. So if you got a topic or you got a question or there's something you want to hear our thoughts about or you want to talk about, make sure you throw it up in there. Before we get into it here, fellas, how are we doing tonight? Bo?
Doing good. Having some technical issues that were a bit frustrating before the show, but hey, it wouldn't be podcast night if we didn't have some technical issues right before the show started. But no, doing good, man. Moving here in Flagstaff was like the best choice ever. Looking around the country, everywhere's 100 million degrees right now, and Flagstaff's a perfect 75. Just like, all right. So doing pretty good actually right now. So compared to the rest of the country getting through this heat wave. So how you doing, Nick?
I'm good. We haven't had a day hit 90 yet here, so we've had a really great summer so far. I'm going to, New Mexico though soon. Has it been dreadfully hot down there? Am I gonna be miserable?
It looks like it's been like in the mid 90s, upper 90s. I think it was like over 100 today. Maybe not.
Oh joy!
I can't remember.
That's okay. It'll still be fun. The kids won't care.
It's a dry heat, Nick.
It's a dry heat. It's a dry 110. So,
You know what else is a dry heat? Your oven. When you put a pizza in it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm doing good. It got close to 90 today here. I think it got up to, 86, 87 on the old car. I thought there was a couple days where I saw 90 on the car, but the car maybe runs a little hotter than the actual temperature, so you never know. They also do they don't do the temperature in city where you get, what do they call that? Because the city's got the asphalt and all the concrete and holds heat more than the outlying areas. So sometimes in cities a little bit hotter than up by the airport where they get the official temperatures for KC. But it's been a beautiful, cool, lots of rain, some sunny days. I'll take it. I'd take this weather year round here. So
it's coming, dude. I don't know if you saw the front that's coming your guys' way. It looks like a dry spell just going for the whole country.
Yeah,
it's wild. It's like 105 in Phoenix right now. Just 75 out here. It's just like an hour and a half south. It just doesn't make sense.
Well, it is June, so we've been enjoying it up until this point. We'll see what happens, but I got air conditioning in my car in my house, so I'm good.
There you go.
Good to see everybody in the chat. Kevin and John C. I think I've seen in here. Maybe Big Doug.
I did see that, Kevin.
Lanier up in there. We're going to talk about that. That's Bo's favorite subject, Kevin, that you're hitting on right there. So
I put it up on screen.
We'll get into that soon. So, John, the heat index. I've never really had anybody explain to me how a heat index works that actually made sense, but
I think some guy just stands out there and goes, feels like this. Yeah, it feels like
feels,
this.
Feels hotter than that.
Right. What do you mean it feels
Wind's
hotter?
Blowing. Feels like this now.
Yeah, I guess it has to do with the humidity and the wind and I don't know. I'm obviously not a meteorologist, so it might not make sense to me, but off season continues. Although I was thinking about training camp starts next month. we're about what 45 days away, 50 days from training camp, and then preseason games, and then the season will be here. Like the offseason, although it's been a little slow here, maybe the last couple weeks in Chiefs Kingdom, doesn't it seem super short when your team goes to the Super Bowl every year?
Oh yeah, completely right. You got the extended season, and then drafts right around the corner after the Super Bowl. So yeah, there's a lot of
Right.
activities going on still
Yeah.
for us
Yeah.
into
It's
the new year.
pretty wild. Probably the biggest news surrounding the Chiefs here recently would be I don't know. They signed the first round draft pick, Xavier Worthy, wide receiver out of Texas. Don't know that there was particularly any drama around not getting him signed. But hey, when you get your guys signed, that's always a good thing. So get some of these draft picks going in here. I know you
He
guys.
was holding out though, right? Wasn't he the last first rounder to sign his
Yeah,
contract?
I mean, I guess. Yeah, you could loosely use the term holding out. I mean, he wanted the Chiefs to draft him, right? I don't think there was ever like a risk that he wasn't gonna sign. I mean, did you ever get that impression, or no?
No. I was just saying, like, that was if there was any drama in the media,
Right.
right? That's what they were focusing on, is that he was the last first rounder to sign.
Yeah. John C. Yeah, 4 weeks away from it.
from a KT injury.
That's funny.
Yeah,
shit.
Kadarius Toney. He's like in a little precarious situation. The Chiefs didn't pick up his 5th-year option, so
Right.
he's in a little bit of limbo, right? I mean, I don't know what to expect. I don't expect anything out of him this year, to be honest with you, right? I mean, I don't.
Well, I mean, we've been pretty critical of the guy all season. Would you have picked up his 5th-year option if you had
No.
that kind of power? I don't think so either. The production just hasn't been there for me
Right.
yet. I mean, they could prove
Yeah.
He could prove himself this season.
I mean, I wouldn't re-sign Clyde Edwards-Helaire either, but I mean, his production, I mean, he looks like a Hall of Famer compared to Kadarius Toney, I guess. So maybe that's an unfair comparison,
Well,
but Nick,
Contract year's undefeated, right?
yeah, that's true. Contract year is undefeated. So, although I'm sure there's plenty of guys that had contract years that you never got signed by another team, right? You just never hear about them. The big name guys, when they get into their contract year, they seem to have a big year. But so it's good to get the first round draft pick signed and ready to go. Mandatory OTA workout stuff starts next week, I believe. So all the voluntary quote unquote stuff going on so far, right? I mean,
Who's it? Like, it's voluntary for what? Kelce, Mahomes, some of the veterans, maybe some injury guys, right? But other than that, they're like highly recommended, right?
Right. Yeah, I mean, unless you're one of the handful of guys at any given time that, I don't know, what would you say on the team? There's 10 or 15 guys whose spot is just guaranteed locked in, maybe 20 at any given time. The rest of them guys, you don't have to be there, but you better be there if you want to make the team. So we're going to get into those here starting next week. And like I said, we'll be looking at training camp up at St. Joe and then preseason games. So I guess the other bit of Chiefs news would be the visit to the White House. 2nd year in a row, the Chiefs gave the president a helmet this time, I think, instead of a jersey. There was kind of some funny shenanigans and some moments going on there. Nick, what are your thoughts on teams visiting the White House, and what did you think about the Chiefs visit in particular?
It's funny that some of the people from the team are going around and they're like, "Oh, and here's where the Rose Garden is," and then they're basically giving a tour because they've been there before.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool. But no, I think it's a great thing that they do for these players, that they get to go get basically a tour of the White House, get to meet the president, get to check out Washington D.C. It's neat. It's something that I would love to be able to do, to go there and see that. I mean, it's the history of our country, and it's the seat of the highest position in the world, right? So
yeah,
that's awesome, man.
Yeah, Bo.
Yeah, man, contrary to what some people believe in this country, I think it's an incredible honor to go visit that place, man. There's so much history, and it's such a cool recognition from, like what Nick said, the highest office in the US. I love the way Biden opened it too, dude. He just straight up said, "Welcome back." You know what I mean? Just like, "Yep, we're doing this again," right? And I really appreciated that right off the get go. There's that Travis Kelce moment. I was kind of anticipating it and didn't disappoint.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, just what a cool honor, man. I regardless of your political beliefs or whatever, I think whatever team you're on with, if you win the Super Bowl, you should go check that out. Because one, you imagine the tour that they get. You know what I mean? Like it's probably like
Oh yeah.
better than like a general public tour. A little bit
Oh
more
yeah.
VIP, a little bit more exclusive access. Probably get to see some cool stuff. And then I was mentioned before, just the history, the art, and just knowing who's lived there and everything that's gone down, the world leaders that have been through there. I think it's a really cool honor. So yeah, it was fun to see again.
No, yeah, the team looked like they were having a good time with it. So yeah, and the welcome back thing was pretty good. It's like, hey, weren't you just here? Like this deja vu, right? John C. Whitehouse is Arrowhead East. I saw people calling it Arrowhead DC on social media. Arrowhead Northeast.
The district
Patrick
of Arrowhead.
Patrick Mahomes. He's from Whitehouse, Texas, right? Isn't that the town that he's from? So people are kind of saying from one White House to the other, right? And
Nice.
kind of cool. Yeah, and like you said, you see the guys like taking pictures and they're kind of wandering around. I'm sure they don't get to go wherever they want unsupervised, but like you said, Bo,
Right.
it's not like you're walking around like behind roped off cordoned areas and you've got someone showing you, and then you're whisked away to the next part of the building. I mean, it looks like you get to spend some time and kind of hang out around the White House and just chill and kind of meander and roam around. So that would be pretty cool. Definitely.
Oh yeah.
Be hoping for a third visit in a row to the White House next year.
How many times do they have to go before they start Forrest Gumping it? And he's like, and I went to the White House again.
Yeah.
I must have went to the White House like 16, 17 times.
Right. I met the President of the United States again. Yeah, I mean, what do you think, Nick? Go you first. Like the White House, like what would you be looking forward to seeing the most, do you think, on a visit to the White House?
Yeah, I mean, did they get to see the Oval Office?
You
I don't know if they
know.
could see the Oval Office. I mean,
Wasn't there a picture
that
of
would
Chris
be
Jones last year in taking a nap in the Oval Office.
No, he wasn't in the Oval Office, was he?
I can't remember my
memories. Yeah, I mean, I think that would be the coolest, right? Like that's the room where so many things have happened. If you think back to all the way back to like the Alan Jacksons, George Washingtons, Abraham Lincolns of the world, right? Of our country sat there. Kennedy, you think about Kennedy and his brother trying to figure out the Cuban Missile Crisis. They were in that room, just trying to figure out how to keep the world from ending. And you get to go and see that and see that room as part of history. I think that's probably would be the highlight for me personally.
Right.
I took the easy one too, so you guys are screwed.
Bo, you can poach the Rose Garden, I guess, here if you want, or I don't know what you.
Yeah, the Rose Garden. No. I mean, I doubt they get access to it. But me personally, I'd be curious about like seeing if like you could see like their security room at all. I know, you know what I mean. It's highly unlikely, but just like a glance, see if it's just like a room full of just 50 monitors, 1,000 monitors. Just something ridiculous. Or like just getting to see like some of their security that they do that they would show you. It's one of the most protected places on Earth. I could only imagine some of the things that they have kind of tucked away that you don't get to see.
Yeah.
But hey, one could wish.
Yeah, I'd want to see like the secret tunnel that supposedly goes. I mean, I guarantee that even Super Bowl champions probably don't get to see that. But yeah, I think it'd be cool just to like check out like the property too. Just walk around and check out like the lawn and the Rose Garden, all that stuff. You know what I mean? Like you see, like what is it, Marine One, the helicopter? That'd be cool. Yeah. See that sitting out there. It's just something you've seen on TV a ton. So be a cool thing. Definitely go visit the White House. Check it out. Don't know. I don't know if I'd say it's on my bucket list to go do, But I mean, I definitely wouldn't turn down a free trip, right? You've seen that with players before, like or teams, like they don't want to go, right, because of whatever, like they don't agree politically with whoever's in office at the time or whatever. There's been some people that didn't go, but I definitely would not be turning down a free trip to the White House. What I'm trying to think. So they've gone twice. They didn't get Trump was president, right? Because that was during the COVID.
That was COVID, yeah.
So they kind of got gypped out of the third trip, right? This would have been like the third trip for Patrick and Andy and Travis and some of these guys that have been on the team. So, yeah, I think Doug's comment on there. I didn't catch all. I didn't get a chance to read all of it, but
says you got to respect the office. If not, the teams that don't go making a statement, the only statement they're making is about their own lack of character. There it is.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure it's something that, I mean, most people would want to go do and want to go see. I mean, me, myself, I don't know. I might want to go see like the Pentagon or something more. Like, I don't know. Like that's, because I feel like you've seen the White House on TV so much, but I don't know
to see like how much more of the White House there is compared to what you do see on TV, right? I've never been, obviously, but yeah.
See how big it is.
Yeah. See how
Watch
big it is.
the
See
West
more
Wing,
rooms.
so I've basically been there. So.
Right. And anytime I go anywhere, I'm always interested in the food. So I wonder what kind of like grub they get when they go there. Trump famously had the McDonald's
and Burger King and stuff
at the White House at one time. So, but I guarantee you, they got some top-notch food at the White House. So
yeah, I heard the president can order whatever he wants and they'll get it for him, right? Or make it for him. So I mean, I bet you their kitchen's pretty amazing.
Right, yeah, I don't think the president's like, can I get this tonight? And they're like, oh, no, we can't get that for you. Sorry, you have to pick something else. You know what I mean? But
he really wants McDonald's? Yeah, we can definitely do that. That's pretty easy.
Right, yeah.
Mr. President, this is the 14th day in a row you've had A5 Wagyu. That's not good for your cholesterol.
Yeah,
you beat me, President Bo. You're gonna have to stop eating steak and lobster every night.
It's triple the deficit.
President Bo, that's got a good ring to it. I like that. That sounds good.
President Bo. Did Kelce behave? Laney's asking. He did get the mic.
Yep.
So I thought that was pretty cool that they made room for him to come up and say what he wanted to say in front of the microphone. So
it's definitely more scripted than last year, though, right? Like it was worked into the programs.
Yeah, he was invited up to the podium, right? He didn't kind of sneak up there. He said it was on New Heights. He said they told him if you go up to the podium again, like we're gonna tase you or something. Do you believe that? You think they really would have tased him if he did that?
I don't know.
I don't think that's a threat you want to fuck around with when you're dealing with the Secret Service and the president and like sneaking up on him and shit. I don't know. I think they might.
Yeah, he wasn't sneaking up on the president though. He was like when he did it last year. The President Biden was on the other side of the stage or whatever you want to call it there, and so. But you could see like the suit guys, like they were kind of like getting nervous, like kind of walking up to the podium as he stepped up there to it.
Patrick was like, "No, let's get over here.
Let's go back to stand where you're supposed to stand." I definitely would not be pressing my luck, but I just was wondering if would they seriously have tased Travis Kelce if he went up there uninvited? Like he said they told him they would, but who knows how truthful that statement is? But
in an election year,
I don't think you want to have the Swifties turn against you,
right?
Queen's man there,
right? So Chiefs wrapped up their visit to the White House for the second year in a row. They'll be working on a third trip next year, if all goes to plan. Another bit of Chiefs news. Bo's favorite subject, Kevin hit on it a little bit ago. The behind the back pass, man, it's reappearing. it's made a comeback.
Why? Can I just ask this? I want to put this out to the internet. Why is everybody excited about this? What, like, we do see the potential downside to what happens if like that catches his shoulder pads when he's going behind, because he's doing all these passes without pads, right? And I know he's the man, but dude, I feel like that's gonna be like a moment like in basketball, or not basketball. What was it? Tropic Thunder, where they do the alley oop and the ref's so blown away. He's like, that's 2 fouls, right? Like they're not. First of all, like, is it a tuck rule if you're doing this behind your back instead of this? Is it a backwards lateral even if it goes forwards because you're throwing it behind your back? Like, I don't know. Besides the officiating and the objectiveness or the objective nature of that call being made, I just see like it not working out the way it's working out in practice. So it's like, oh yeah, wide open, touchdown. Like I call me a pessimist. I just don't see the upside in this play.
I mean, it's a cool factor, right? It's kind of like the no look and this other stuff. It's just something that you don't see. And people would argue, I guess, that maybe Matthew Stafford and some other guys have done no look passes before Patrick Mahomes pass against the Ravens. Now, I don't know that any of them made a no look pass to a guy streaking across the field at full speed, kind of quite like Patrick did in that game against the Ravens. But I mean, look, do I want to see him doing it with the game on the line in the AFC Championship? No, but I mean,
unless it works.
If it works, I'll change my tune. But man, oh man, it seems so risky.
Dude, look. So Michael Jordan would do stuff like this when he was dunking the ball, and I know that missing 2 points in a basketball game is not quite the same thing, right? But I mean, that was part of the ethos of Jordan, is that he was putting up a show. He was like, I mean, literally dunking on people. That's what that is, right? That's
that would be
dunking on people in the game where you're like, yeah,
dunking on somebody.
Yeah, behind the back pass. Like it's just, I don't know. It's just like a flare. Some people aren't for it, right? It increases risk. But
if I saw a dude practicing a dunk before the dunk was a thing, I wouldn't be worried. I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense. Like nobody's gonna stop that, right? But like, oh man, it just seems like the potential for that pass to not be accurate, one, seems like it just goes through the roof, and two, how much zip are you getting on that ball? Defenses are so fast. Seems like they can react to it. I don't know. Maybe it's they're relying on the misdirection of it all or something. But
he's saying that Andy Reid is the one that's like wants him to do it the most.
Right. I heard that too.
Like that's what Patrick was like. I just don't. He's where Bo is. He's like, I just don't want to. I think he's thinking about that no look touchdown that he sailed over Kelce's head, and he got dragged for it for a week on national sports media.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know if I want to see him trying it with the game on the line, but I mean, 5 minutes to go.
41-0 against the Bears would have been a good
week
time.
7 against the Falcons or the Saints or whatever it is. I mean, come on, man. Like what? I don't know. Is it showmanship here? Is it
I'm 100% on board if it's the scenario John C's laying out, right? We're up 3 touchdowns against the Gators. Let's do it. Like, yeah, I'm all aboard for that. But like, is that going to be a thing again? Dude, it just makes me nervous. I don't know. I get all like nervous thinking about it. Like that just it's they're going to try it. I don't feel like it's going to work. And it's this,
every time I see a video of him doing it, I just picture Bo cringing in the back of my mind, so which gives me a laugh. So, I mean, is it
my enjoyment?
Does it really happen, or are they putting it out there as something to keep defenses guessing? Like when you see the play going one way and you see this guy going this way, do you really need to stay on him and guard him, or does a guy like peel off to guard him, which maybe like makes somebody going the other way not doubled? I mean. Is it just a psychological trick here? Is it playing mind games with someone? Or do you think it's like a real legit thing that you'll see in a game, Nick?
I don't think you'll see it in a game. I just think it's something that they talk about, that's fun. They have fun at practice, but it doesn't seem like Patrick's necessarily all that comfortable doing it based on his interview. And I think the Chiefs like to do some of that, putting stuff out there. I mean, how much did they put up of Justin Ross before the season started last year? And it's like, yeah, look at this guy. Check this guy out. And it's like, I mean, that guy was never doing anything on the field for us, right? It was, I think it's a little bit of that, but I just think they like to have fun. And, if Patrick's not comfortable doing it, he's probably not going to do it in a game. Maybe in year 2 he would have done it, but he's kind of like the old head in the league now, right? At least in the AFC. Aside from what, Aaron Rodgers, is there any quarterback that's older than him?
I'd have to go through and think about that. I mean, there's 32 quarterbacks, right?
I'm just
31.
saying AFC, right? I mean,
Yeah, I don't. Russell Wilson, he's older than Patrick Mahomes, right? On the
yeah, if
Steelers.
he starts,
I mean, I think he's the starter right now. I mean, maybe Justin Fields beats him out.
right?
Maybe they split time between the two guys, so I'm not 100% sure there. But no, I mean, he's getting to be one of the more veteran, seasoned guys, right? And especially like you said in the AFC. So,
Doesn't it feel
I
like
don't.
we're just scratching the surface too? When you say something like that, you're like, oh man, but he's just like getting it now, right? Like he won with
Yeah, he gets
last
to be the
year's
veteran
team.
for
He
a
won
long
with last
time.
year's team. It's only going to go uphill from there.
Yeah,
Right. He's just hitting his prime. If you think about it, I mean, prime age and years, and scary thing to think about for the rest of the NFL. Yeah, Geno
Geno
Smith.
Mayfield, they're in the NFC though. Sorry, John. I was just saying in the AFC. I mean, if you look at all those guys, like he's the oldest of the more relevant quarterbacks, I guess, if you want to say it that way. Like who's relevant in the AFC as a quarterback? I mean, Burrow, Allen, well, Watson's the same age. If you want to say that
Close.
Watson, yeah, I mean,
Close to the same age.
Herbert's younger. Dude from the Texans,
CJ Stroud.
Yeah. So
Who's the Raiders are going with Aiden O'Connell, right?
I have no idea who the Raiders are going with.
Is their backup? It's not Jimmy G. They got rid of him. Who the fuck's their
right.
backup?
I don't even know if they have a backup. Well, the Raiders, man, I don't know what they're. I mean, think about it. It's like the Broncos too, right? Bo Nix. I mean, is he going to start?
Right.
Or, I mean, is he ready as a rookie? I know he's a little bit older than your average rookie, right? Because was older, and I think he played like 5 years or something in Oregon or some crazy shit like that. But,
So do you guys think he's going to do the behind the back pass?
No. God no. I mean, they would save it for like super end of the year, maybe playoff run or something, and like a scenario I'm lining up. I don't see them running that with like any kind of competitive game on the line. Even if it's 2 touchdown game, we're up ahead. I'd say 3 at least. I've been wrong a lot though, saying stuff like this on the show.
I can't hear you, Scotty.
Well, what if he's wide open?
I mean, if he makes it, all the best to him, I guess, right? Like,
Look, if we didn't see it up 41-0 against the Bears, probably aren't going to see it.
That's true. Hope there's no Bears fans watching. My
Would
boy
it have
Dan.
to be against a team we have like a vendetta against, like a division rival, or one of our 8 other NFL rivals that the NFL claims that we have a rivalry with, like the Bengals or the Buffs or something like that?
Yeah. I don't know. I saw our man JT was in the chat earlier. I don't know if JT's still here or not, but good to see you, man.
Hey-o.
Appreciate you swinging by. I saw a post. Kind of want to know if JT's still here in the chat or not. If you're still with us, JT, give us a thumbs up or something.
What are you gonna give? What kind of grief are you giving him now?
No, I was going to pay the man a compliment and give him a congratulations if he's still with us, but not seeing JT making a comment here. JT, are
You
you
didn't
there?
put my Trump comment up on the screen. Screw you
What's
guys.
that?
He's like, you didn't put my Trump comment up on the screen. Screw you guys, I'm going home.
Yeah, he thinks Trump's going to win. It's going to be a rematch, right? I don't have any idea who's going to win, really. but doesn't look like he's here still. So some other Chiefs kind of news, I guess former friend of the Chiefs news, whatever. Tyreek Hill made some comments about, I don't know can everybody hear me talking twice, or is that just on my deal here?
I hear you. I don't hear any echo or anything though.
I can hear everything I'm saying after I say it, so I don't know if maybe it's just on my end or not, but
Power through, you got it. I don't hear anything unless somebody else does. Nick said he can hear it.
I was getting a little echo, so I had my mic muted. So I don't know. Maybe the chat can let us know if they're hearing Scott twice.
I think I just heard Nick twice too. I don't know. Anyway, Justin Jefferson, the Minnesota Vikings, gets a mega deal.
Mega deal.
Mega deal.
35 million a year.
Yeah, it's crazy money. You go through and look at some of his numbers though. Like no one's to his first 4 or 5 years in the league, no one's had more yards receiving than that guy. He's had a bunch of touchdowns, catches, insanely productive.
No echo. It's just on your end.
They've had NFL teams that have paid big money to receivers historically have not fared well. I don't know if that's the right term to use or not.
No, yeah,
that much cap.
That's completely accurate.
Now, when you're the Vikings, though, you can kind of maybe afford to do it more with a guy like that because you've got a cheap quarterback, right? They got rid of Kirk Cousins, unloaded him. They drafted Michael Penix out of Washington, so that buys you some time, especially if you're going to be starting and playing a rookie quarterback, right? Or did Penix go? Did Penix go to what? Or did he go to the Saints? I'm trying to remember. Or the Falcons. I want to say
Penix went to the Falcons.
Right.
Vikings
who went to
the dude from Michigan.
That's right. Yeah, I'm getting my guys mixed up here. So, regardless, point remains the
AJ
same.
McCarthy.
They have a rookie. They got a rookie. They have a rookie quarterback. So you're gonna be on that cheap deal for another 3 or 4 years. You structure the Justin Jefferson deal out. Tyreek Hill comes out and says well, that ain't good for the team being greedy, which I mean, is that some lack of self-awareness, or is that he's learned his lesson from being greedy? I mean, I don't know. Nick, what do you think about Tyreek Hill saying that it hurts the team to be greedy when he was being pretty greedy when he was
Where
with
did
the
he
Chiefs,
say this
right?
at? Did he have an interview or something? I was looking on X. I couldn't find anything.
I think it was like a press conference or something, wasn't it? Like he was talking to somebody. I thought I saw cameras around him, but
it hurts the team being greedy. Is that what he said?
Something like that.
Paraphrasing, essentially.
Paraphrasing. It says it ain't good for the team to be greedy. I think what sparked it was someone asked him about if that means he wants the Dolphins to renegotiate his deal because now he's not even in the top 5 or top 4 with some of these other receivers that have gotten huge deals since he got his mega deal or whatever you want to call it with the Dolphins. Is this Tyreek just being Tyreek? Has he learned a lesson and seen what happened when he got greedy and the team got rid of him and then won back-to-back Super Bowls?
Does he not see the complete irony in his statement?
Does he not? All? I mean, does he not see it? Nick, what do you think?
I think that Tyreek Hill is extremely good at saying controversial things that gets his name out there, and he has Twitch streaming and YouTube channels and podcasts and stuff that people want to go listen to. He says it, and then he knows. So I think it's a game for him to. I think it's Conor McGregor, right, talking shit. It's that's the game that he plays to drive people to his media that he promotes. That's what I personally think. I don't think he really thinks or cares about any of that stuff. I mean, when I Googled it just now, the only thing that was popping up was that Drew Rosenhaus is hinting that Tyreek Hill's going to want a new contract with the Dolphins. So, I mean, that's the only thing that's popping up. So he's potentially looking for more money, So, I mean,
right. I think that's where it came from. Was someone had said something about, well, what does that do for your deal now? Because you went to Miami to be the top paid guy. Now there's 2 or 3 or 4 guys ahead of you.
Over 2 or 3 million, dude. Talk about being greedy. I'm sorry.
Well, it was $3 million over 4 or 5 years or whatever it was. So it was still a good amount of money. But Bo,
I
lack of
didn't hear him say that,
self-awareness.
right? So I'm reacting to gossip right now. But man, if he did say that, I mean, that's just like the most ironic thing I've heard in a while, and to a T. The fact that he did that, Nick, you think he's just being a troll? Essentially, like boiling it down.
That's what I think. I think he's, I don't know that I guess it could be trolling for engagement is the way to look at it. But I do think he has a nose for saying controversial things to get attention thrown his way. Personally, I think that's it. I could be wrong.
After how much stink that he rose for his contract and that whole deal going to Miami and everything, and then Waddle had that kind of record-breaking contract for Miami too. Could you imagine tactically though if Minnesota had done this at the beginning of the offseason, you know what I mean? Or like they done it right at the beginning of the trading and everything. They would have reset the whole receiver market and just completely screwed most teams. So like I'm surprised they waited this long to make that move with Justin Jefferson. But Tyreek Hill's reaction to it is just I'm still baffling. I'm still gathering my thoughts on it, man. It just seems so petty, right? You can tell he's jealous immediately if he is saying that. It's just like, hey man, like
right.
I'm supposed to be the guy.
Right. I mean, I'm operating under the fact that he actually said that. I saw several people commenting on it, and so if he didn't really say it or what, I mean, it's a pretty good gotcha if he didn't actually, because there was a lot of people talking about it.
Shit. Hey, John B.
Yeah, the chat's gone international, huh?
Yeah, John V checking in on vacation in the Cayman Islands.
Damn, we got a Lego sighting. What's up, dude?
Yeah, good to see him, man. What's up? How you been? Appreciate you coming back by. Happy you're here. Is it a mistake to pay Justin Jefferson that much money, Bo?
If you're the Vikings, no, I don't think so. I mean, they clearly made the room for it, and I think that guy's talent and production has definitely preceded his reputation. That guy is a stud. And with Race Car being a Vikings fan, we tend to watch a lot of Vikings games in this household, and I was just never sold on Kirk Cousins. Like to me, he was just kind of on the same level as like a Jimmy G or like. I mean, I feel like he's kind of not even as good as Jimmy G, but like just like an average quarterback, maybe 15, top 15, somewhere there, mid-range quarterback. And if you could get somebody with accuracy, mobility, and some raw talent thrown into that kid, you could see something special. So, I mean, they must believe in this quarterback they drafted to pay him that much money. But I think that's so much money though, man. I mean, he's like, over that 4-year period, he's like $20 or $30 million ahead of the next receiver, right? It's just so much money. I mean, like I said, it's gonna be interesting to see the kind of the echoes and the ripples that go through the NFL as far as resetting the receiver market. You're already hearing agents talking about renegotiating contracts and stuff, so it'll be interesting. As far as should they, I think that's like kind of their ace that they need to hold on to. They don't have much else working for them anymore. They got rid of all their other superstars, whether it be Cook or Diggs or anybody like that had some talent on that team. So I think they're holding on to what they got.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I thought Tyreek Hill was worth the money, so I guess I think Justin Jefferson's worth the money. And it's just like when you've got a rookie quarterback, you can kick that can down the curb, like you can kick that can down the road, right? With salary cap issues and having to pay the quarterback a ton of money. So I don't know that it's a mistake by them, but
yeah, John, that's my point, man. Like, not that great. Sorry.
No, you're good. So yeah, I mean, I don't think they've made a mistake by paying him a lot of money, but I think it'll lead other teams to make mistake and overpay.
Oh yeah, dude.
Wide receiver, especially some of these teams that got big money in their quarterbacks. So.
I mean, I don't know. Look at it this way. So quarterback contracts are now in the 50s per year, pushing up towards 60.
It's a lot of money.
That for at least the first 4 to 5 years, if you hit on your guy, right? Yeah. And so you're paying a wide receiver that is a top 5 talent in the NFL, $35 million a year. And now you've got a solid target. You're saving face with the fan base because you let Kirk Cousins walk, and now you sign Justin Jefferson. So I think it's a good move. I mean, they still, if you look at it, if they were paying a quarterback $50 million a year or $55 million a year, that's $15 to $20 million cheaper still, and you could still sign more players with that extra money. I mean, it's a lot of money, but it's kind of like, I don't know. There's been, like, with all the inflation that we've all experienced recently, the things that have gone up have kind of made some of the other things that maybe didn't go up like seem cheaper by comparison, right? And I think that you have that with, like, the quarterback market has gone so crazy that now it's like, yeah, 35 million a year isn't that crazy for a wide receiver, I guess.
I just remember when Romo got his $35 million a year contract and broke it, right? So I guess I'm just showing my age, but I mean, not really, but like, damn, it's just so much money.
It is. It's a lot of money. So we'll see, but good for Justin Jefferson, man. He's earned it. You know, you can't say the guy hasn't earned the money because he's been the best. I don't know if I'm calling him the best wide receiver.
I would argue he's top 3, man. I mean,
yeah, I mean, I don't know if he's top 2. I mean, I would probably put the top 2 wide receivers in the NFL the last 2 years as. I mean, I would put it as Tyreek and Jefferson, or Jefferson and Tyreek 1 and 2.
Yeah,
2 and 1.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
That's fair.
Tyreek's got a little bit more explosiveness and home run hitting ability, I think, maybe than Justin Jefferson with the speed. But Justin Jefferson gets the catches and the yards and the massive production. So
he's also got the size too over Tyreek, right? He can go up and get balls that. I mean, not saying like Tyreek can't go up and get balls, but like he can just he's got a bigger, he's a bigger target.
Right. I mean, John V's talking about his Niners not paying Mayuk, right, and just watching the price go up and up and up. I'm guessing that was the point of John's message.
Can we talk about the 49ers real quick? I mean, didn't they sign Christian McCaffrey to, like, didn't he just reset the running back market at $19 million a year?
Yeah. We've had this talk before about how much we think running backs matter in the NFL.
That's a big fan.
I think it's pretty far down the totem pole as far as, like, not importance, but just you can find really good running backs. Now, I would say Christian McCaffrey is the best running back in the NFL right now. Anybody argue that?
No, I've argued that to Nico and with John V, to Nico's face and locker room rant. Yeah, I believe that.
Nick, you agree? You think Christian McCaffrey is the best running back in the NFL right now?
Yeah, I mean, he showed up big time in the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah, he had a fumble, but
nobody's perfect.
No, he's perfect. I don't know. With the way the 49ers are constructed and the way they like their offense to run, he's even more important to the team, I guess, than maybe a running back would be to an average team. But I don't know. You got Ayuk and some of these receivers. They're a little bit. It's harder to find really good wide receivers than it is to find really good running backs. So I don't know. When I saw the Christian McCaffrey thing, and it's another deal, right? They've got their quarterback on a cheap deal, so they can do these crazy contracts. I keep hearing people and seeing people online and on TV say, where are the 49ers getting all this money? And how can the 49ers just keep affording all these huge contracts to these players? Because they're paying Brock Purdy next to nothing.
Yeah, rookie contract money, right?
Relatively speaking.
That's exactly what's happening with the Justin Jefferson thing, right? That's what we were just talking about.
Yeah. John V said that Jimmy G couldn't lead a stick to water. I mean, he led the 49ers about just as far as Brock Purdy did, right? I mean, a quarter away from winning the Super Bowl, a 10-point lead in the Super Bowl. So they're almost identical with what they accomplished and where they made it on the 49ers when you think about it, right? I mean,
well, Brock Purdy made it to overtime. You know, he made it One drive further.
Well, yeah, I mean that's a little bit further than Jimmy G. Not much though.
You got to split hairs at some point, right? That's the hair you're splitting.
Yeah, I don't know what to think of that Christian McCaffrey deal. I mean, if there's a team and a player, if there's a running back that's worth it to a team, worth that kind of money, it's Christian McCaffrey on the 49ers, right?
Yeah,
he's such like a different running back than most hybrids, like take the ball, run up the middle, right? He's such a hybrid player. He can receive out of the backfield. He can block well. He's fast as fuck. Just a game changer, dude. And we talk about this a lot. He's one of those players that just has that tremendous feel for the game. He knows how to make players miss him, and then he just knows where the seams are too. He's such a dynamic player, man. I think he's worth it, but I would argue there's only like maybe three running backs worth that kind of money, and then it should fall off drastically after that. But
tell me who you're talking about, Brock Purdy, or are you talking about Christian McCaffrey?
McCaffrey.
I don't know.
Well, because I was just giving him a hard time about it, saying he's the same guy and took the team to the same place that Jimmy G did. So I'm wondering if he's. I mean, I don't know. Brock Purdy was not an MVP candidate. There was people maybe talking about him being the MVP, but
McCaffrey.
He was never really in there.
He's talking McCaffrey, I think, not Purdy.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to figure
out.
Good.
Thanks for stopping by, man.
Yeah, good to see you, bro.
Well, both, I guess. All right, there you go.
So, I mean, Christian McCaffrey is more important to the 49ers than Brock Purdy, right?
100%.
I don't know. 49ers, I don't know, man.
What do you mean?
I know Brock Purdy had him in the overtime in the Super Bowl, but I just don't see that guy being it, man. To get it done, I don't. Do you see Brock Purdy winning the Super Bowl, Nick?
As long as Patrick Mahomes ain't there, maybe.
I mean, maybe his supporting cast is.
I mean, do you think that 49ers team could have beat Baltimore? They got run.
They got smoked by Baltimore at home.
Yeah, they got run out of the stadium last time they played them, but postseason is different.
Yeah, it is different, but they got run at home.
Yeah. So who else? So Bills. Do you think they would have beat the Bills if the Bills had gone to the Super Bowl?
I think the Bills aren't making the Super Bowl. That's the whole thing. I don't. We're going to talk about the Bills here in a minute.
I mean, it's just if they're going to make it to the Super Bowl and win, it's probably going to be one of those three teams, right? The Chiefs, the Ravens, the Bills. Who else would you want to throw in there? I mean,
Bengals maybe.
I don't know if I see the Bill. I don't know if I see the Bills as a Super Bowl contender next year. We'll get to that here in a minute, but I see the point you're trying to make. Bo, you see Brock Purdy? Does he win a Super Bowl with the 49ers? Do you see it happening or no?
To Nick's point, if Mahomes was in it, yeah, I think he's got a fair shot. I mean, he got rolled over on some games, but he also did some amazing things. The thing about that system, though, and we talked about this a lot on this show, even about the 49ers system, is, man, you could have put my dad in at quarterback and just handed the ball off to Christian McCaffrey and done well in that system. I mean, they didn't throw a ton. He was fairly accurate when he did throw. I'll give him that. But I mean, when you're also throwing to Ayuk and who's their other stud receiver, Debo
Samuel.
Yeah, you don't have to try too hard. You can throw that 3 feet over their head and they'll go get it. Does he win a Super Bowl, man? If something happens and we get flubbed out of a championship game again, I could see him beating whoever happens to get us on some kind of weird technicality.
Yeah, but then they got to make it, right? On top of not only does Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs not make it, then they have to actually make it. Right. There's some competition. I don't know what's going on with the Eagles. I could see them. I thought that the Eagles would regress last year from the year before, where they were really close to winning the Super Bowl and in it with the Chiefs, and they did last year. part of that was Jalen Hurts' injury, but I could see them coming back and being a contender. Green Bay, the way Green Bay played last year with Jordan Love and Preston,
Yeah,
I
towards the end
surprised
there.
me, man.
Yeah.
That guy surprised me after watching him play the first year or so as a starter. Did not look like he had it. They beat the Chiefs, right? In the regular season last year. Now, albeit that was the game where they tackled MVS on the what would have been what? Would that have given them the lead there towards the end of the game, or
Yeah,
tied
where
the game?
MVS gave that defensive back a piggyback ride for like 5
Yeah,
yards before the ball got there.
He got tackled to the ground before the ball ever got there, and there was no flag. But the Lions are legit, I think, again next year. The Lions had them down at home in that NFC Championship game. So, I mean, it's hard to get there. And then when you get there, it's looking like more often than not, Patrick's going to be there waiting for you. So, I don't see it happening with him. I just don't see him being on the level of a Patrick Mahomes or a Joe Burrow, Matthew Stafford, like an elite quarterback, right?
Come on, man. Why you gotta be fucking up John V's vacation?
Right. I don't know. He brought it up, man. John V brought it up. So,
Yeah. Well, we got a question here from Lego. He said he popped back in the other chat he was going to was talking about nothing. So wanted to get y'all's opinion after the season. Do you think the Chiefs will try and sign Hollywood to a 4 or more year contract?
How old is he? Can someone look up his age right now? Hollywood Brown.
He's 27.
So he's still
he just
young
turned
enough.
27 yesterday. Happy birthday, Hollywood Brown.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't. It's just Captain Obvious here, but it's just going to depend on how much money he asks for, right? Like, you're muted, Bo.
I said that, and how well he does this season. Obviously, right? He's gonna have to have a hell of a season to a 4-year contract, man. I mean, we're kind of going through receivers right now at this point, man. I don't know. You'd have to probably pinnacle. You have to get over 1,000 yards probably and have a significant amount of touchdowns on your name to get offered that kind of contract. I feel like otherwise they'll just go young and and cheap.
It's just going to depend on whether he's willing to come in and take a team-friendly deal to stay around. I mean, I could see him giving him 3 or 4 years, but not crazy money. And when you look at it, if he comes in and has a crazy year this year, right, especially if Rashee Rice misses time, the door's wide open for Hollywood Brown to rack up some numbers.
Yeah, the opportunity's there.
I mean, if the dude comes in here and has a 13 or 1,400 yard season and has 8 or 9 or 10 touchdowns or something like that, I see him winning way more money than the Chiefs will be willing to pay long term.
Yeah.
He came here on a 1-year deal. He's ring chasing right now. So if he gets the ring, even more so, right, that he's going to want to get a big payday. So I don't see it. Obviously, not saying it won't happen, but if I had to lean one way or the other, I would lean probably not. What do you guys think, Bo?
Yeah, I mean, just kind of not to repeat myself too much. I mean, he would have to have one hell of a year to get offered a 4-year contract. Just put that there, right? But then, it's a fine edge, like you're pointing out. He does too well. He starts asking for too much money. We're in that same position. Like, hey, man, I don't know if you see what we're working with receiver-wise. We can afford to replace you a little bit. We have that position group open, and it's just one of those things we have to wait and see, man. If he comes out, like you said, has a 1,400 yard season and 20 plus touchdowns, man, let's pay that guy some money because obviously he's a game changer. Or him and Patrick have something going on, but we've gotten rid of Tyreek Hill. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what he would have to do to necessarily be like, yeah, you're the guy now.
We brought Juju in for a year and then let him walk.
Look, I don't think the plan for the Chiefs or for Brown is for him to be there long term. I think that goes back to why he signed a 1-year deal. And they probably were like, look, you're gonna be featured in our offense here, so take less. We're going for this three-peat. You can try to get a Super Bowl ring, showcase your talents for the rest of the league. Then God bless you. We wish you the best. You can get more money, after we show you off for a year with a different team. I think that that's the plan, and I think that that's going to be the plan kind of going forward with some of these guys because we really just can't afford to do that. So we're going to be looking for the Jujus, the Hollywood Browns. It's kind of like a second, third tier type dude with a lot of talent that can be boosted by the fact that he has Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, that are making him pop off, and then they're going to go get paid somewhere else. So I think that's the plan anyway, if I had to guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if he has a big year and gets a ring, he's going to want money, and the Chiefs aren't going to be willing to pay big money to a guy like him. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Right. You're right, Lego. But if he gets his ring and has a big year, I have a feeling like he's going to be then looking for money.
And
the
who
Chiefs
knows what
have
the
shown-
receiver market's going to look like a year from now, dude? If
Right.
it's
And the
50
Chiefs have
million
shown
now.
that they're not willing to pay big money for a wide receiver. They let Tyreek walk. I don't see them offering some crazy 3-year, 20-something million dollar, $30 million a year deal to Hollywood Brown if you didn't give it to Tyreek Hill. So it's going to have to see. It's going to depend on how he kind of year he has and if he gets that ring or not. Maybe if he doesn't get the ring, maybe he's hungry, and is willing to take another team-friendly deal. So but that's a good question. That's interesting thought.
He had one more that he threw out there. So do y'all think Watson will get more playing time and targets this year, considering he's been clutch for Mahomes in the past years?
I'm out of the business of making wide receiver predictions for the Chiefs. I don't know,
We've made
man.
so much money at these predictions, though.
Dude,
What are you
that
talking
sounds
about?
so lame to say, but I'm always on the opposite wrong side of what the Chiefs are, what wide receivers are going to do with the Chiefs, right? Although I will say I was not as bullish on Sky Moore and Kadarius Toney and some of these guys that other people were bullish on. So I guess maybe I was a little bit more spot on there. But yeah, I mean, I thought that Justin Ross was going to have a big year. I was thinking.
He's still on the team, man. Don't give up hope, man. There's still a spark there.
Him and Reese Sammet, bro. They're gonna.
He's running back though. He's not a wide receiver.
They're gonna put Zamet as a backup kicker and then just put him in because he's on the team.
He's gonna do the kickoffs and then go just rugby smoke somebody on the field.
Yeah. So I don't. I think you see Justin Watson probably in the same role you saw him in last year.
A lot of that I feel like depends on this Rashee Rice thing that we brought up.
That's true too.
Like if Rashee Rice out there, he is kind of Mr. Consistent out there, and he actually was our deep ball threat for like the past 2 years, essentially, right? I'm like, he's the receiver with the most yards or most 20+ yard catches compared to anybody else. So I mean, I could see him leaning into him a lot actually.
Justin Watson is this team's offensive Daniel Sorensen.
Yeah, that's true.
He will make some boneheaded plays, and you'll be like, why is this guy on the freaking roster? And then in a clutch moment, he's going to get open on a 3rd and long and make a ridiculous catch, and you're going to be like, dude, that guy's fucking awesome. I mean,
redeem yourself, man.
Totally redeem yourself. So that's the way I look at him. I think that's his role. I don't foresee them maybe, putting him out there more than they are. I think that they found the sweet spot for him, and they figured out how to get him open in prime situations, and more often than not he delivers. He had some drops that cost us last year too. So
I forgot that Sorensen's nickname was the sausage, dude.
Yeah.
Good call, Lego. The new sausage. The offensive sausage. The big O.
You guys kind of on the same page as me. You kind of just think you expect Justin Watson, you kind of get out of him what you got last year, and his role on the team kind of stays the same.
Yeah, he's a bit player, right? I think that's. I don't think I like that. He makes clutch plays. I mean, makes big catches.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was up until Rashee Rice kind of took over as the number one guy, right? Justin Watson was almost like Patrick's number one guy. Like, he was leading the team in catches, like yards.
He was the only one catching the fucking ball, right?
Yeah, it
like,
was Sky Moore
wasn't
and
dropping
Tony
it.
struggling, and Justin Ross not on the field for some reason. Still frustrates me to no end that you had Kadarius Toney and Sky Moore doing next to nothing out there, and like Justin Ross couldn't get on the damn field. I don't.
Makes you wonder what they see at practice and stuff, right? Versus what we get to
Right.
see just once a week.
Yeah, I mean, I think really what it boils down to is Sky Moore was a second round pick, and Kadarius Toney they traded for, and they were gonna try to force that square peg into that round hole, right? And they were gonna, and they gave it all year, and it never happened. And so I don't know. Maybe I'd bail on guys too quickly, but I mean, it came pretty. Kadarius Toney, though, here's the deal: like Sky Moore and Kadarius Toney, to me, have never done anything that have
Back to back,
like
John.
earned them, right? Like we're just gonna keep going to you all year, you know? Like those guys that, I mean, go look at Kadarius Toney's stats for his career. They're not even pedestrian. They're less than pedestrian. Sky Moore is.
God,
How many other teams does Sky Moore
bust
make in the
that was.
NFL? 10 rosters, maybe? I don't know.
I don't think anybody's
So
hurting that.
not
bad
as a
for it,
starter.
I mean,
yeah, so I don't know. I don't know what the Chiefs are thinking at wide receiver a lot of the time. I mean, I wanted to keep Tyreek. I didn't understand the Kadarius Toney, Sky Moore hype. I really thought Justin Ross was going to be something, and he wasn't. Did not expect
Dude,
Justin Watson to be the man, and he
I definitely
was.
understood the Joker hype, right? Like he looked so good, and it just looked like he had bad beef with New York's management when he left the Giants, right? That's what it seemed to me. I was just like, oh yeah, you can fake a hamstring injury because so fast, so explosive. I mean, another one of those players that just have a great feel of where he needs to be. Then he had that spectacular catch for us where he readjusted his gloves midair or
Yeah.
the ball's in the air and catches it. It's like, oh, here we go. And then just what a dud. Just absolute
Yeah.
just fall
In
flat
New
on your
York, too.
face.
I like this
Yeah,
take.
against New
Nico
York.
Remigio over Moore.
Yeah.
I've been seeing a
He got
lot of
injured,
him
right?
on
In the
KC
preseason.
social media.
Do what?
I've been seeing a lot of Remigio on the social media feeds from KC.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
looked good in the preseason last year.
Yeah. He didn't make
Maybe
team.
we're preseason heroes.
That was one of the guys that didn't make the team, but we were all kind of like, man, that would have been awesome to see him in there, especially like 3 games in. We're like, whoa, what do we got here, man? Like, we should have went with one of those guys.
Yeah, for sure. But speaking of wide receivers, I sent you guys a post from X earlier. The Buffalo Bills, there's some reports by this website, a report from the website, or it was an opinion by these people who are, well, it's a legit account. It's got 30-some thousand followers, and they're like a beat. They follow the Bills, right? Now, this is OTAs, so this isn't training camp, so take it for a grain of salt. But they're saying Chase Claypool is like this wide receiver that's standing out the most on the Bills right now so far this offseason.
That's saying something.
If Chase Claypool is your best wide receiver, you're in trouble.
Hey man, he was catching some bombs from Mitch Trubisky. Okay,
How
that guy
come
got drafted over Patrick Mahomes?
How come nobody is saying, "Oh, Josh Allen's going to get exposed without Stephon Diggs this year," like you were hearing with Patrick Mahomes when Tyreek Hill left? Like, why is that?
Because he hasn't been to the Super Bowl 3 times in the past 5 years. That's
Is that it?
100%.
It seems like that would make you more suspect and more likely to be critiqued.
Sure. I bet you he's facing it. I'm not big in that circle.
I haven't
by
seen
any
anybody
means.
saying that online or hearing it on the radio or on TV. And unlike Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill, you had a year's sample size of Josh Allen before Stephon Diggs, and it was not good. Josh Allen was not the Josh Allen of the last 3 or 4 seasons before he got Stephon Diggs.
Yeah. I hear what you're saying about like the media not reporting on it, but wouldn't you kind of like take that as a nod to them, like that's them recognizing it? Because that's all we've heard is like Wonder Boy and like, oh, what's he gonna do this year? And the fact that you're not hearing them at all in the media is kind of like a silent recognition of that, right? They're omitting the truth, or like truth by omission, right, or something like that. What was it called? Am I trying to think of here?
Well, look, everybody else that's not Chiefs fans, right? That's not basking in the glory of being a Chiefs fan. It's staring down the barrel of another 10 plus years of Patrick Mahomes' domination of the league. And they've got to believe that there's got to be somebody out there that can knock him down and take him out. And so they're not going to sit there and trash Josh Allen because that's been the guy that's got the closest, right? Joe Burrow did it one time. But I mean, that's got to be it, right? They're like, please, like, just tell us. Is there nobody else? Like, is this just going to be it? And I think that's why they're not sitting there saying he's going to fall off.
Like, he's less accomplished, and he had a year where he was not great without Stephon Diggs on the record. Like, it's on film, it's there for you to see.
Yeah.
Stephon Diggs kind of unlocked Josh Allen when he got there. I don't, maybe for lack of a better phrase, but
you're assuming that truth has anything to do.
I just don't get how. I just don't get how it was like that was the narrative everywhere that Patrick Mahomes was going to be exposed and was going to fall off without Tyreek Hill, and you're not hearing anybody say that about Josh Allen. I just don't get why. I don't understand it.
All right, Tyreek Hill was a different caliber receiver than Gabe Davis and who else and Diggs, right?
Diggs.
Like, I mean, Diggs is pretty good, but he got shut the fuck down this last year. I mean, he had several games where he only had 30 or 40 yards receiving total, man. And
yeah, he's still pretty good.
Not that guy's MO at all. So, I mean, Tyreek Hill was not that guy. Whereas none of them, like, I mean, he was better than both those guys combined. So, I mean, I feel like there was a bigger loss when Tyreek Hill got away. And, I mean, that was still in a time where people were doubting Mahomes, right? Like, they thought it was all Tyreek. And, like, I think that's why we saw those shit, like, oh, we're going to see people get exposed here with this move and stuff. And it, like, nope, man, like, we had the number one guy. But
we haven't not won a Super Bowl since. So,
right.
Yeah. And look, Kevin here, he's saying, Joshua has it all. He's got MVS. What more could he want? I mean, look, if Josh can't make the AFC Championship ceiling pass on third down as a bomb to MVS, then we just know once and for all that, he's not as good as Patrick. So, John, dude, don't. We appreciate your tutelage here, but
right, man.
John
B's committed.
Happy wife, happy life, bro. I mean, it's the way it works. So,
yeah, John. What's more important? Where's your commitment in life? CKL or your wife or your marriage, man? Come on,
priorities. Yeah, no, Scott just flipped me. I'm with Scott now.
3-1. It's science. Come on.
He makes a good point.
No, John V, you should be enjoying your vacation, man. But I appreciate you coming by and checking us out while you're in the Cayman Islands and hanging out.
I mean, the ocean, it does get a little repetitive.
Yeah, man. Send us some pics, dude.
Isn't our man Tom from Barbados or something down in that area?
He is.
Caribbean?
Yep.
So maybe you'll run into Tom Hood while you're down there. But
just ask around. I'm sure people know him.
He's probably not a lot of Chiefs fans that way.
Right. I mean, what do you guys think? Josh Allen get exposed? Does he fall off without Stephon Diggs this year, Nick?
Define fall off.
I mean,
like not make the playoffs?
yeah, not be one of the top 3 or 4 quarterbacks in the league. I mean, I don't.
I mean, I think he's going to struggle this year. I think that it's not going to be a talent thing. I think that he, who was it? Was it John C. He's going to get frustrated. He's going to run too much, and he might get injured. I think that you saw it at the end of that divisional round game where he just couldn't just go the whole game with the dink and dunk, and he just had to go hero ball mode, and you can't do that for a whole season if you're throwing to a team full of MVSs. You gotta figure out how to get those 5-6 yard completions.
Yeah.
For
I mean, they got that Shakir who showed some flashes last year, but they lost Gabe Davis and Stephon Diggs. That's the other thing too. Like, even more reason for people like the narrative to be out there that Josh Allen's going to get exposed this year, but he doesn't face the scrutiny that Patrick Mahomes does for whatever
Right.
reason. I guess maybe it's just when you're on top, like people are going to come at you more. Maybe that's what it
Josh
is.
is 28.
Yeah,
John.
There's definitely a little of that being on top. You're gonna have a target on your back, but I mean, I think we've already kind of seen his decline, right? So it's not that big of a talking point to be like Josh Allen and the Bills aren't going to be as good as they were. What, 3 years ago was when they were like super dominant? 2 years ago, 3 years ago now, right? Like it's we've seen a season now where I mean, aside from a super rally there at the end of the season, they were one toe away from being sent home and not making the playoffs by us this past year. So the fact that they're not getting publicity for not being good doesn't surprise me, man. I mean, shitty teams don't get talked about that much, and the good ones do. And they haven't made any moves to sway the opinion of the masses in one way or the other, in my opinion. Or actually more towards falling off than improving with the moves they made at wide receiver. So I don't think you're going to see that at all this season, because I think everybody's kind of accepted that the Bills aren't what they were 2-3 years ago.
Yeah, I called it going into last season. I thought the Bills would regress, and I was like you said, one Kadarius Toney foot away from being pretty accurate there, and the Bills, maybe in a wild card team are missing the playoffs altogether. They're had to pay Josh Allen big money. They've lost a big chunk of their receiving core and their weapons. Defense has aged even more and have lost some of these big guys on defense that gave them a top 5 defense there a couple first few years. Josh Allen was on the field. I think the Bills are in a I'm not going to say complete collapse, but I don't.
Me too, Lego.
I mean, I expect the Chiefs, the Bengals, the Texans, the Ravens to all be better. Maybe even the Browns to all be better than the Bills this year. I mean, you guys agree with that?
Yeah.
So now you're talking like they were the prime competition for the Chiefs at the top of the AFC the last few years. I think they could fall out of like top 5 or being right there, maybe 5th in the AFC. So, but no one's talking about that. No one's predicting his downfall. The golden child, Mr. January, right? I just don't get it, man. I'm not going to get like why the guy didn't face the scrutiny that Patrick's faced when he's accomplished less. And you had a year where he didn't have Stephon Diggs and he wasn't as good. So,
if he gets the Madden cover again, then I bet you we could see some some news stories out there. But I think by not putting him out there in the spotlight, that's admitting a lot silently that he's just not the guy anymore. I bet you we see more of Herbert than we see more of Allen this year.
Yeah, who's on the Madden cover this year?
I don't know.
They haven't announced it yet, right?
I don't think so.
It's got to be Patrick Mahomes, right?
CJ Stroud, maybe.
I could see Lamar getting it.
Lamar, yeah.
Has Lamar? Has he had a Madden cover before?
Yeah, I think the other time he won MVP.
Height thing, and he's like a superstar outside of football.
So you have to say that again. Your mic kind of cut in and out. Unless Nick
Travis Kelce maybe get the cover.
Ooh.
New heights.
New Heights,
like,
the New Heights Madden cover.
he's in
Travis and Jason.
maybe he's in movie. Well, Jason doesn't play anymore, right?
Oh,
So
yeah, that's right. He retired.
he's retired, so I don't think he's gonna be on the cover. But Travis
in the
Kelce's
background. He'll be one
superstar
of the
on and
fans.
off the field now.
He'll be in the background in the fans with his shirt off, yelling, chugging a beer, right?
Yeah, could be.
That would be an epic Madden cover, actually, right? That'd be sick.
Yeah. I think it's got to be Patrick Mahomes. You just won back-to-back Super Bowls, right? I mean,
Dude, for some reason, he just doesn't get the same kind of love you would think for a quarterback winning back-to-back Super Bowls.
well, he falls into that thing too, where it's like, I mean, you can't put him on the cover every year, right? I mean, it's like you have to let somebody else have a turn every once in a while.
They did with
What, are
Brady.
people not going to buy the game because he's on the cover again?
I don't know. It's like Andy Reid never winning Coach of the Year, even though he should probably win Coach of the Year every year, right? I mean, you just like
Right.
that's like one of these things where like your success and like the people getting tired of you factor like actually hurts you in some ways. And so, I mean, you could have put Patrick Mahomes on the cover of Madden every year for the last 4 years, and it would have been legit. But EA Sports, nobody's going to put the same person on the cover 4 or 5 years in a row. So they got to try to find somebody else to put on there. But
well, I mean, I feel like for EA, it's a marketing thing, right? So, like, yeah, who would have a bigger name?
Right.
I mean, shit. John C says Jefferson on the Vikings. That's a pretty.
Could put Big Red on there.
yeah, I don't know that. Have they ever put a coach on there other than John Madden himself? I don't think so.
know, but there is like a dynasty league where you're just the coach or like the GM. So like I could see that move going.
That sounds boring as hell.
Dude, I would buy it just for the humor if it was Mr. Unlimited Lego.
Limited.
I don't think that's good.
Justin Jefferson, that's a good pick.
Could be.
Christian McCaffrey could be,
CMC?
run CMC.
I feel like CMC had one though. Man, I'm not the biggest Madden guy, but I feel like he had a cover.
When he was with the Panthers.
Yeah. You know what? I have Google right at my fingertips. I always do this. Like, how am I gonna
Cam Newton got a Madden cover at one point, I know.
Mm-hmm. He's MVP, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see. But it's got to be Patrick or Travis. I'm going Travis Kelce cover at Madden this year. He's in these movies, talking about being in movies now. He's like got the #1 sports podcast and one of the #1 podcasts in the world. He's freaking dating Taylor Swift, who's like the biggest pop star on the planet right now. Got a lot of juice, right? Right now.
If not now, you're never getting on the cover, man.
Right. I mean, never been on there obviously before.
Oh no, it was Peyton Hillis. That's who got the cover. It was a running back I
Oh,
was
yeah.
thinking of. I'm not seeing CMC.
Didn't Derrick Henry get the cover one year?
Not that I'm seeing. No, not that I'm seeing. Gronk. Is that Richard Sherman? Barry Sanders, Megatron, Peyton Hillis, Drew Brees.
He was Madden.
Favre.
These are concepts.
Vince Young got it, but I'm going way back now.
Yeah, that's way back.
Okay.
Sean Alexander.
Yeah,
no. Yeah. Anyway, I think the Kelce one would be fucking sweet, dude.
It would.
That just for the cover. If you had him in some kind of badass like catching pose, and then his
Oh,
in
yeah.
the background with the shirt off, yelling, that'd be so dope.
Yeah, I don't.
You need to tweet that out to Madden, Scott.
Yeah, Scott, can you make that happen with all your connections?
Yeah.
Can you get Mahomes on that?
I mean,
And remind him that he has a movie offer through
Right.
the lady that was here last week.
Yeah, Susan. Yeah, well, I'll once we get off the show here, I'll call his agent and I'll get it set up. So I really want a Travis Kelce Madden cover now so bad. Like, guys,
I'm gonna be so
he's never
disappointed.
won like Offensive Player of the Year, right? He's never won MVP. He's never gotten any accolades, right? I mean,
I think he is in the 99 club though.
he's okay. That's true. You're right. He's made 99 club, which is
So I mean, he's on their radar.
I mean, 99 Club, that's almost more exclusive than the cover, right? No?
Oh no. Oh no. Yeah, maybe. You're taking it.
Well,
You're
there's
taking
more
it
than
in a different
199 a
vision than
year,
I
right?
had, but I'm still with you there, I guess.
What's that, Nick?
I said, well, there's more than 199 player each year, right?
Yeah.
Is there?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I think Mahomes and Kelce had it the same year, one of those years.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm pretty sure. It's
And
like
Chris-
Jefferson's a 99. Like I'm pretty sure there's it's like.
Yeah, I want to say at one point, like Travis was a 99, Patrick was a 99, Tyreek was like a 98, and Chris Jones was like a 98 or something. The Chiefs have so many good players on their team. It's fucking ridiculous.
People were pushing for Madden to make Tyreek's speed 100 because
Right.
it only goes 99.
Should have.
Kirk Cousins, dude,
I mean, here. Right. Could be.
with all the chains.
Man, I really want that cover now.
Have you seen that chick on X that does the colored pencil drawings of like all the players and stuff? I had a pretty cool idea. I sent it to her. I was like, "Hey, how much would this cost?" And I mean, deservedly so. She is badass, but it's just like a little bit out of my range, right? A little bit like Super Bowl ticket price. It's just like, whoa, all right, but like, good on you. But I could see her drawing that up.
Yeah, I've got a Dan Sorensen print from her hanging on my wall. I'm looking at it right now.
Is it that same girl? What's her name?
Caitlin. Art by Caitlin.
Dude, her stuff.
Say her name and she appears. Hey, Susan.
Hey,
yeah.
Susan,
good to see you. Glad you can make it. Yeah, dude, her stuff's like it looks like a picture, like a portrait, and it's fucking colored pencils.
Colored pencils.
Oh yeah, yeah. We should get her on the show.
I've reached out to her a couple of times. I don't think we've heard back from her, but she probably gets tons of DMs and is doing her art stuff. So,
right.
No hard feelings that she hasn't gotten back to us. But yeah, I would definitely like to get her on the show sometime.
I think Scotty, did you? Sorry, I was checking my phone for something, but did you say which print you've got?
Yeah, Dirty Dan Sorensen
is the best.
Dan the man.
That's my
amazing print of that Rice Bowl game, the minus 30-degree game when Mahomes' helmet shattered and that piece was flying off, and that whoever that photographer did, she did that photo.
Yeah.
Oh, it came out so good.
Yeah, it was sick. Yeah, it was sick. She's got some affordable prints on her website though. I'm sure commissioning and original.
Sorry if I'm butchering your name. I think her name's Caitlin Snailings.
Yeah.
Snelling?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, you guys are in the chat. You haven't checked her out. Go check her out. Her artwork's amazing. Go consider commissioning a piece too.
Yeah. You know, you're talking about Tyreek's speed. People are wanting to go to 100 on Madden. I was watching some Jamal Charles highlights. You think about how fast Jamal Charles was, and defenders would chase him, and you could tell they weren't going to catch him, but they didn't give up because they were somewhat close to him the entire way, right down the field to the end zone. Tyreek Hill, like, motherfuckers just quit chasing him. That's how much faster he was, dude. Think about how fast Jamal Charles was. And, dude, people would just give up on Tyreek Hill. Like, they knew. Like, they not only
Tyreek would catch up to receivers. He was that fast, right? They'd be 10, 15 yards down the field. He'd just catch up and run into the end zone with his arm around him like, hey.
Dude, that play you're talking about, I thought he was going to scare Darrell Williams and, make him fumble the ball on that play when he caught up and put his arms back. Because you could see Darrell Williams like, what the hell? But was I expecting anybody to be there? I just remember watching that play thinking, bro, don't scare him and have him fumble the ball.
He was so fast that he would be able to stop at the end zone, turn around, and backflip in.
Right. Have that much time.
Yeah.
Remember in Tecmo Bowl where you just start running around sideline to sideline?
Oh, with Bo Jackson?
With Bo Jackson? Yeah, exactly. That's what it reminds me of. But
that's hilarious. I don't know. Anything else you guys want to get to? You want to get out of here?
Yeah, we could call it.
Yeah, I think we covered it, man.
We got it. Not sure if we'll have a show next week. Nick, you'll be out of town, right?
I will. Yep.
So
Unless
I don't
you're
know.
planning on robbing my house, and then I will be here.
Yeah, I wasn't planning on robbing your house, but
See you next week.
yeah. So Nick will be out. I don't know. Maybe if it's another slow week or something, I don't know if Nick will want to be jamming up his vacation. Although John V's taking an hour out of his vacation.
know,
to be on
Yeah,
show.
no
Hey,
excuses, Nick.
I
Come
did the
on.
show from India. Okay.
Yeah, that's
Don't
true.
lose your title of cool, Nick. We don't want to call you shit.
That's
Nick.
true. That's true. But family vacation. You might want to not have to schedule a week out or an hour or two out of your week there. But
Yeah.
those vacation nights are valuable, man.
Yeah.
But I appreciate everybody who came by. It was good to see Lego back in the chat. John
Yes,
C,
thank you, everybody.
Susan, Big Doug, Kevin, Maria. I saw her in there at one point.
All the John,
sorry if I'm
Susan,
missing
good
you.
seeing you again too.
My my memory's pretty good, but not the greatest these days. So
There's Maria
yeah,
back
hey,
there.
appreciate the kind words, my man. Appreciate it. Yeah, so we'll keep you all updated and abreast of whether or not there'll be a show next week. But make sure you click like and subscribe if you haven't already, and tell some friends and family, help spread the word for the show. And until next time, let's go Chiefs!
Go Chiefs!